Hey guys, Chris from Harmony Turbines here for our second installment in what I would call our generator series. So you may recall, if you've been keeping up with our videos, that just 2 weeks ago we announced that we were going to dive back into doing a simplified version of our patented axial flux generator. And by simplified version, what we mean is we're not going to have the variable air gap in this version of our axial flux generator. So we don't need to worry about air gap if we're using air coils because we don't have the startup cogging to worry about. This change was necessary because all of the generators we were testing, off-the-shelf generators, were pretty much crap. For what we needed, for the RPM range that we were looking for, they were nowhere near what we needed. And even some of them that were spec'd to be within the range that we needed didn't test anywhere near what they should have. So either those companies were outright lying or they didn't know what they were doing. And, it is what it is. So we shifted gears. One of the signs of a good company is when you have a problem, you don't sit there and keep pounding your head against the wall. You overcome that issue. You shift gears, you change, and that's exactly what we did. So we shifted gears and said, you know what? We need to overcome just a few things to make this possible. One is our bobbins, and we did a nice little video on our bobbins, so go back and take a look at those. That video, we go into detail of how we make our own bobbins now, and we can produce these with very high reliability, high strength. The very first coil that I wound was this one right here, 220 turns on it. I was a little bit sloppy, so you see a little bit of run over on it, not so much on this end, but on the other end. But the thing to keep in mind and look at is we don't have any bowing. This has been probably at least 3 weeks that this has been in here and wound. There's a little tiny bit of kick out that you see on the bottom side here, but that actually is coming out of the printer that way. So I'm going to look at that process and see why we have that little kick out. But that little tiny bit of kick out is actually in the print. So it's not an artifact of bowing that's happening from the coil being in here. So these little guys are supporting these coils marvelously well. This is the second coil that I wound about 4 days later, and there was no overrun. I was able to get the CNC winder dialed in a lot better, so there's no overrun, even though it has the same 220 turns on it. Much nicer layers, and again, no bowing. So these coils enable us to basically dial in the exact voltage that we want our generator to produce at our very extremely low cut-in speed that we're going to have. So we're targeting the ability to make our generator so that we can capitalize on the largest, most, I would say the average or the normal type of wind that you get here in the bulk of the United States. So we're looking to begin spinning in winds as low as 3 miles per hour. By doing our own generator, by getting rid of the gearing, the tooth pulleys, or the bicycle chains, or a V-belt, by getting rid of any gearing at all, spur gears, whatever, we are going one-to-one, direct coupling from the turbine down to the generator, a direct coupling. So that's going to enable us to start up in incredibly low wind speeds. So we're probably looking at, as soon as we see the anemometer on the unit beginning to spin, the turbine will begin spinning shortly thereafter. Right now, the anemometer can be up there spinning and doing things, and Harmony is kind of stuck because it's got all that extra torque behind it because we have like a 6-to-1 or a 4.5-to-1 gear ratio on it right now. So it can't even begin spinning. It's like hopping on your 10-speed bike and trying to pedal in, 10th gear. It's just a lot of extra torque to overcome. All right, I'm not going to show you all of the components of our newly designed generator because we do have to keep a few things secret here, keep them proprietary, of course, until we release, and then you can buy the units and people will inevitably tear things apart and reverse engineer stuff, but no sense in giving away the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, before we go into production. This is our axial flux generator, the nuts and bolts of it being the top platter with the magnets, and then a bottom platter with the magnets sandwiching our resin bobbin core. And that basically gives us our very simplified axial flux generator all together. So this unit, when this is put together, it's like under 3.5 inches tall. So this is really cool to be full-sized. We're out somewhere in the 14-inch range, 14-inch diameter, 16-inch diameter for the generator. So we're talking 16 inches on the periphery of it, and then it's something like 3.5 inches tall. So very small. We're probably looking at, I don't know, with the steel platters, the copper in the coils and the resin, I would be surprised if we got above 25 pounds with this generator. But even if it was 50 pounds, it doesn't matter. It's sitting there statically mounted underneath the turbine, and that extra weight in these steel platters here is really giving us the flywheel effect. So people have always been emailing me about flywheel. Yeah, we don't need to worry about that. This is going to give us a very nice flywheel here. When these magnetic platters are rotating, they're two quarter-inch steel rotating masses. They'll be very nice flywheels in our design. I'm not showing you anything proprietary at this point. This is just exactly what a normal axial flux generator looks like. All of the kind of secret things are hidden away in here. So at this point, you're just seeing pretty much what a normal axial flux generator is, except this one is tuned to our specific needs. 100% of what we're going for in the voltage and wattage capabilities of this generator are built into it. So we don't have to deal with, trying to make somebody else's product work for our purposes. It's custom made to exactly what we want, the specifications that we want. I don't know whether companies out there just don't know how to go beyond the few little parameters that they have and work with you in a prototypical manner, or if they didn't want to. It could be a mix of either incompetence in some cases where they just don't know how to do it, or inability in other cases, or lack of wanting to work with a small startup company. Who cares? Whatever the reason, we said, screw it, we're going to just do our own. And you might have been like, oh my God, they're doing their own generator, it's going to take forever. Nope, a week. So we went from deciding we were going to do it to a fully designed generator here. And then we are now going to begin doing the cam and cutting of our parts probably next week here. So we've got all of the generator components designed, catted up, fit together in our assembly. We even have the mold drawn up and done, and we've already worked through the process of how the molding of this is going to work. So for our resin core, and we've already done it. You've seen in other videos, 2 different occasions where we've cast our own resin cores for our axial flux generator. This is a cut down, simplified version of that. And we've got the experience of doing it now twice already. So we know this is going to work. And what we've come up with here is an even more simplified process of what we did the 2 previous times. And here's the really exciting part, guys. This is the part that is so freaking exciting, because we have all of our own CNC equipment here. We have all of the fabrication capabilities of an entire machine shop behind us. And I made that choice early on when we began the company, even though people were like, you're stupid, why would you do that? Why would you waste all that money? Waste is absolutely what we were looking to eliminate, because we went from the decision to do this to catting up our designs for a simplified generator to now next week being able to start doing the cam and actually cutting parts on our CNC machines. You're talking incredibly rapid development, rapid prototyping here. We have already been talking about our 3-pronged approach when we have basically our generator that we're developing, we have the charge controller that we're developing, and we're working on the new scoop geometries. In fact, right here printing beside me is more of our scoops that we're probably up to, I would guess we have over 100 little turbines over there that we've printed over the past couple months, basically testing all different types, permutations, and looking at everything that we can. I've written to Penn State University and reached out to them if they want to do any computational fluid dynamics projects with us. We got a positive response saying yes, they would be interested in doing that. So we might even get into doing some CFD to help escalate or accelerate our work that we're doing on our scoop geometries. Suffice it to say, we have been knocking it out of the park. Guys, the momentum here, the feeling in the room is just palpable. It's crazy to see how all of this is coming together, how exciting this is, to rapidly be able to develop this stuff, a decision to fully catting something up and then working on the cam and cutting parts literally within a 3-week period. That is absolutely impossible when you're dealing with third-party companies and 12 and 14-week wait times on parts and all this stuff. We've got the ability to do it instantly here, or next to instantly. This is so exciting. I can't even, really put into words all of the things that are happening at once. Our 3-prong approach is kind of coming together in these different video series that we're doing. So I hope you're following along. I hope you're watching all of these different videos and seeing and feeling the momentum, the urgency, the excitement build as we're getting closer and closer to having all this stuff worked out. Now, you might be thinking, wow, when are they going to go into beta? This has got to be happening soon. Well, guess what? Today, we just did the paperwork to really formally launch our beta program and start putting that out there. So if you're not signed up for a newsletter, sign up for a newsletter, because that information is going to go out Monday, where we're actually starting to look formally for the first couple early adopter beta sites. As this comes together here, guys, things are going to just happen more and more and more rapidly. And this is what it's all about. When you're an early R&D development company, we're putting it all out there for you to see, for you to scrutinize. We're showing our mistakes as well as our success. It's all here to look at, to analyze, to celebrate, and to share together. That's what we're doing. We're sharing this journey with you. So I know it's a deviation from how normal companies do their development. They keep everything secret until the day they're like, hey, we've got this product, anyone want it? And you've got to convince people that they should buy your product. Well, we've gone about it the entire opposite way. We have hundreds of people waiting for our product, actually upset and angry in some cases that it's taking so long. But guys, this is how development works. It's not an instant process. The cool part here is, as we have more and more success, we're building on that. It just comes together so rapidly at the end here. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing all of this kind of come together. So thank you for sharing in that journey with us. Thank you for understanding this isn't something that happens overnight. You don't go boop and it's there, the wind turbines at your front door. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes real work, and there is real world issues to deal with. There's people that you have to find for your team. Sometimes you have to let people go that don't fit your team. You've got all sorts of human needs and real world cases happening around this company that you are trying to build from a little tiny idea from the inception of what it is you're looking to do. That's what we're sharing with you. This entire journey of being a new development company, trying to bring a product to you that you can be thrilled with in the end, that you can see all of the work that went into making this, and you can know that you have a quality product in the end. So that's what we're here to do. That's what we're all about. Thank you for being on this journey with us, for following along, for sharing in it with us. Thanks for making this possible. So Chris from Harmony Turbines and the team back here, until next time, guys, bye-bye.
Harmony Turbines. We now have the power to change the world.